What can a combat pilot's career possibly teach us about business strategy? Well, today we're going to treat a professional journey like a case study and explore how some really unique high-stakes experiences can forge an absolutely invaluable business philosophy.
Wow, that's a powerful way to start. It immediately reframes how we think about business. We're not talking spreadsheets anymore, we're talking life and death. It just makes you stop and ask, what in the world can a combat helicopter pilot teach us about navigating the craziness of today's market?
And that brings us to the man behind that quote, James O'Connor. See, his story is all about translating lessons learned under the most extreme pressure you can imagine into a strategy that helps businesses fly steady even when the visibility is absolute zero.
Now, to really get his approach, we've got to go back to the beginning. We're talking about a 20-year career in the Arizona Army National Guard, a place where every single decision has immediate, real-world consequences.
His journey kicks off in 1985, and interestingly, not in the air. He started on the ground as a combat medic, focused on keeping people alive. From there, he becomes an officer, and by 91, he's leading a scout platoon from the cockpit of a Kiowa helicopter. Then, just 2 years later, he's a company commander. Do you see the pattern here? It's like a dual education in protecting your most valuable assets, your people, while managing constant extreme risk.
In an environment like that, you learn two things with crystal clarity. First, how to keep your cool and stay disciplined when chaos is erupting all around you. And second, and this is crucial, you learn to trust your data, your instruments, even when your gut is screaming at you to do the exact opposite. These aren't just skills you know, they are literal survival mechanisms.
Okay, so how does that translate to the corporate world? Well, he takes this incredibly hard-won experience from one battlefield and brings it to a totally different one, the fast-paced, always-changing world of technology.
And his time in the corporate world wasn't just some short tour of duty. Starting back in 1991, his tech career actually ran parallel to his military service. He spent an amazing 18 years at Insight before moving over to Hypertech in 2018. That's not just experience, folks. That's decades on the front lines, watching the entire tech market grow and change from the inside.
And this is where you really see those military skills just click into place. He wasn't just in sales. He was leading Insight's medical emergency response team, a literal transfer of his combat medic training. He was mentoring new teammates like a seasoned officer and guiding the company through a really complex system transition, kind of like a pilot navigating a tricky maneuver.
All right, let's pull all these threads together. We've seen the pilot and we've seen the tech advisor. Now let's look at how those two identities merge into one single, really powerful value proposition for his clients today. This right here is the enemy. It's the central threat he warns every single business about: normalcy bias. It's that dangerous, quiet little assumption that just because things have been going well, they'll just keep going well. It's the belief that clear skies last forever. And let me tell you, in the cockpit and in the market, that belief can be absolutely fatal.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. His argument is that today's market is in total INC. That's instrument meteorological conditions. You've basically flown into a thick fog where you can't see a thing. Trying to fly by sight, or VFR, which is like relying on your gut feeling, is a recipe for disaster. The only way to survive is to switch to your instruments, the hard data, and trust what they're telling you, not what you feel is happening.
And that is the fundamental difference in his entire approach. He's not just a vendor trying to move boxes. His role is to be the guide who helps you read the instruments, make sense of the data, and chart a safe course through the storm, instead of just selling you the plane and wishing you good luck. So in his current role at Hypertech, this whole philosophy is put into practice every single day. By positioning himself as a strategic co-pilot, he's offering IT leaders a second set of eyes on those instruments, sharing the immense pressure and risk of trying to fly solo through these really complex tech challenges. And look, this expertise isn't just some high-level idea. It covers the entire mission profile. We're talking about everything from building the powerful engine, the strategic infrastructure and high-performance computing for AI, to reinforcing the fuselage with a strong defensive posture through cybersecurity, and of course, executing the day-to-day flight plan of tactical operations and cloud migrations. You know, you wouldn't get in a cockpit with an untrained co-pilot, right? Same idea here. This strategic guidance is backed by some serious technical credibility. Certifications from huge players like AWS, Red Hat, and WatchGuard prove that he has the qualifications to be a trusted advisor when these complex, absolutely critical decisions are on the line. I mean, this just brilliantly sums up his entire philosophy. Think about it. In business, airspeed is your purchasing power. Altitude is your cash reserve. The mission is to keep both healthy. It's such a clear, concise, and unforgettable objective that perfectly translates aviation survival principles into corporate financial health.
So we'll end with the question that really matters the most. Just take a look at your own organization. Are you making big decisions based on what you think you see out the window, or are you relying on the hard data from your instruments to show you what's really happening? Because that answer could be the difference between a smooth flight and a catastrophic failure.